Freedom is the natural ability of everyone to do what he likes, unless it is prohibited by law, force, or me.
May I never be parted from purple.
Welcome to the reunion episode of The Real Emperors of the Ancient World. Last time we were together, we got to take a look at Qin Shi Huangdi and Augustus Caesar. Our guests tonight are Emperor Justinian and Empress Theodora from the Byzantine Empire.
Hello, I'm Emperor Justinian, and this is my wife Theodora. Thank you for having us on your show.
We are excited to be here. It is an honor for you to have us.
This past season, Justinian and Theodora, you had both of your private lives examined. In his latest book, Procopius published a tell-all of your lives. So let's start with you, Justinian. Procopius says that your ultimate goal is to drench the earth with as much human blood as could spill and to steal as much money as possible. What do you have to say to the accusation that you hunger for death and money?
His accusations are completely unsound. Have people died under my rule? Of course. Just as they have under any past emperor. And as for the money, yes, taxes were high, but that is the cost of expansion and security.
Okay, well, let's talk about some touchy subjects. I wouldn't say that his accusations are completely unsound, but let's take a look at the Nika riots. For those of you out there watching tonight who missed that episode, let's take a look.
This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is...
What do you have to say about the death of 30,000 people?
For 5 days, many citizens in Constantinople, mostly the gangs of the Blues and Greens, rioted through the city, burning down buildings and killing hundreds. They destroyed more than half of the city and tried to overthrow my power. For these reasons, I believe what I did was justified, as it was necessary to assert my power and save Constantinople. For actions like this, Procopius has called me demonic. But I would rather be a demon and have a safe and strong empire than be a coward and a pushover. And plus, everything that Procopius has said against me and my wife should be taken with a grain of salt. He was obviously not a fan of our rule or of our characters, and his secret history makes this clear as his writing tries to take stabs at our honor.
Justinian's actions were completely necessary. Our rule was under threat, and I was not about to leave all that we had accomplished behind and hide out for the rest of our days, so I completely support Justinian in doing what he needed to in order to ensure our safety and that of our rule. I also agree what my husband says about Procopius. How can we believe a man who wrote that my mother was impregnated by a demon? How is it accurate to believe that I am a half-demon?
That does sound a bit absurd, but your violent actions were a cause for concern. Did anything positive besides your purported safety arise from the Nika riot?
Well, we got to stay in power, and Justinian built and expanded our city, making it even more incredible than it was before.
Yes, we rebuilt much of the city, most notably the Hagia Sophia, which was completely burned down amidst the riots. Except the new version was an unprecedented architectural feat. It was amazingly completed in only 6 years, and it holds the largest dome ever created. It's the crown jewel of our empire.
And back to the taxes that you mentioned before, Procopius claims that even though you paid the Huns inconceivable amounts of money, they still raided and plundered your kingdom. He goes so far as to say that in giving them money, you gave them a taste of the riches in your empire, giving them even more of an incentive to act. So what do you have to say to that?
I don't believe that I gave them any sort of incentive to attack. My sole reason for paying the Huns was to ensure safety within my empire. And by the fact that Constantinople was never breached, I say that I made the right decision and that my actions were virtuous in the long run.
And let's not even get started with you, Theodora. Procopius really brought back your past that you have tried so hard to escape. He painted you as a prostitute back then with no shame and no intention of changing your behavior in the present. What do you have to say to that?
Well, yes, in my past I was a prostitute, but it wasn't as shameless as he went on to say. My father died when my eldest sister was only 7 years old. My mother had no prospects for money. She married a man, and seeing as the Green Party turned us out, we went on to the Blue Party so that my stepfather could be a bear keeper. Money was still the problem, so my mother made my sisters and I prostitute ourselves. It wasn't as though I had a choice. In reality, I was an obedient daughter who did unimaginable things to ensure my family would have enough money to survive. Seeing as I was indoctrinated into that lifestyle so early, it was hard to establish myself as someone worthy of respect. I have worked endlessly to rehabilitate my image, and with no one, Gossip Book has torn that image down.
This book brings up many unresolved problems and pain from your past, Theodora. So we will continue to do that, but it is time for a commercial break. We will be back after a few words from our sponsors.
We invite you to come visit the Hagia Sophia. Completed in only 6 years, this church's unusual architecture is a feast for the eyes. We have guided tours Monday through Saturday, as Sunday is for worship. Please call to schedule your visit now. Call 212-992-9664. Calling all citizens of the Byzantine Empire. As you all know, the threat of the Huns is a constant concern. While we have the situation under control for the time being, we still need your help. Please make donations to add to our Hun Fund.
Fund the Hun Fund. Hello, Byzantinians. I would like to take this time to speak to you on behalf of the Blue Party. As you all know, they are the most powerful in our empire, and they need your support. Please support our funds by buying our classic blue costumes and going to our barber. I, Empress Theodora, approve this message.
New recreational opportunities in the empire. Come climb the city walls and appreciate our panoramic views. Do not be alarmed by the Huns raiding the countryside. The inside of the city is safe and protected.
Come to the music festival this weekend in honor of Empress Theodora's birthday.
There once was a girl, a courtesan, a lonely rose. Her father trained bears, the hippodrome, it was her own. A well-known actress and mistress of the governor.
And we're back. For those of you just tuning in now, this is the reunion episode of the Real Emperors of the Ancient World. We're back with Justinian and Theodora. Theodora, we were talking about your past and how you've risen up in the world. You've previously stated that you didn't want to be a prostitute, but that you were forced by your own mother. Is there anything you wish you could have access to help you out? Some other alternative?
Well, I've had a lot of time to think about that. As you all know, I established a convent for ex-prostitutes to have a safe place to rehabilitate themselves. I don't think that women go into this lifestyle by choice, but rather a lack of options. I created the convent in hopes that providing these women a safe haven would better society and give them more opportunities. Procopius definitely did not like women, as evidenced by the first title of his book, Gynocracy, Rule of Women. He essentially talks poorly about every single woman he mentions. Look at Antonina. He thinks that women were participating in any form when it comes to government, etc. Leads to the downfall of the empire. I think that my championing women's rights has definitely put me on Procopius's bad side. He didn't like the convent, and I'm sure he didn't like the inheritance law.
I see where you're coming from, Theodora, but you're not the only one with humble beginnings. Justinian, Procopius definitely refers to your past in his book as well.
Yes, I've never tried to hide my past. It's true that I helped my uncle during his rule. My uncle, although well-meaning and wise, was not educated, and therefore could not fully complete all the tasks associated with being an emperor. So seeing as I am literate and well-educated, I helped him. Through this experience, I gained insight and knowledge about what it takes to be a good emperor, and have definitely implemented that in my own rule. I am not from Constantinople, as he noted, but I am loyal and fit for my position.
But that is not all he says about your past.
As I said, I'm not from Constantinople. I do come from a farming village in the Balkans. I was a peasant, but coming from humble beginnings and rising to power is not something to be ashamed of. Actually, in modern times, I've been told this notion has become quite popular. Something about the American myth?
Very true, Justinian. So let's go back to your ruling methods. You definitely had experience during your uncle Justin's rule. Do you think that attributed to your need to manage everything as you had to during your uncle's rule?
Procopius thinks that I'm a micromanager, and I don't really see the problem with that. I think he tries to make me seem bad for being involved and aware of all of the happenings in my empire, whereas past emperors have simply delegated their responsibilities to others. I think this shows how much of a caring ruler I am, and how dedicated I am to my people, rather than a tyrant.
I doubt anyone would say that you're an undedicated ruler. Procopius also states that you guys only pretend to disagree on political matters for public image, as he asserts that you guys simply pretend to, quote, so as to prevent your subjects from agreeing among themselves to rise up against you.
It is no secret that I'm a fan of the Blues. They accepted us when my father died, and the Greens put in a new bear keeper, causing my family to seek new employment.
We interrupt this program to bring you important safety information. Random killings on the streets of Constantinople. Guard yourselves. Do not wear valuable clothing and implement the buddy system. The Blues are on the loose.
I'm also grateful to the Blues for all that they did for Theodora's family, but I do support the Greens as well.
Doesn't that make you kind of two-faced?
I don't think so. I think that it's good to be supportive of as many people possible. I know that might be unpopular, but the Greens are important to our society, and I like to help them out as much as I can.
Well, it looks like we are running out of time for tonight's episode. I hope to see you all next time with our new emperors.
Thank you!
I'm so fancy. You already know I'm in the fast lane. From LA to Tokyo.